So welcome back to another episode. And today I had the pleasure of watching the Sony State of Play. I've been looking forward to this all weekend because Sony was going to have their own kind of like a Nintendo Direct on YouTube directly to us. So I was like, oh my God, every company's going to start doing this now. It's going to be a really big thing. Sony really has some stuff to say. What are they going to say? So all weekend I've been like thinking about it. I've been excited about it. I'm like, going to set time to watch this because it's going to be amazing. Was it amazing? It was a little underwhelming, that's for sure. I thought it was going to be either half an hour to an hour long, maybe even 45 minutes. It was 20 minutes. They got to 20 minutes, they're like, okay, we got to wrap it up. I'm like, what? It's over? I was just getting warmed up. I've written some notes here about all the games that they talked about and things like that, and what some of the emphasis of this was about. I'm going to give my own 2 cents. What did you guys think of this State of Play address to the Union? What did you guys think of this? Man, oh man, I'm so underwhelmed. I can't believe it. I can't believe that was they needed to do that? I guess so. Okay, there is some interesting things in here though. But we started off in a really kind of lame way, where you're on a plane and I'm like, what is this? And there's some like CG characters talking, and then all of a sudden you kind of jump out of the plane and you're Iron Man. And I thought, oh my God, this is the next Avengers game. I'm thinking like Square Enix is going to be on here. No, it's a VR Iron Man game. And what was weird is during the CG, they kept saying, not actual gameplay. They kept saying that over and over and over again. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's another gameplay. And then all of a sudden, you see the gameplay. It's like a couple of hands like this flying through the air, shooting. That looked like, I don't know, it looked so basic. And I'm like, and it didn't say not actual gameplay. I'm like, oh, that is the gameplay. So you're just kind of flying through the air as Iron Man, shooting things. And I was like, okay, they're starting off with the small stuff first. We're going to build into some other things here. And then they showed Crash Team Racing. That was cool. My wife loves Crash Bandicoot Racing. She loves that so much. So this looks really good. This is one of the things that I was enjoying quite a lot watching this. It got me all hyped up. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to play this game. It looks like a lot of fun. All those different characters. The racetracks look really good. It showed you what it was like back in the day to now. And that got me a little excited. And then I became very unexcited again when they showed No Man's Sky, a game that I was kind of done with a while ago. Nearly 2 years ago, probably at this point. And I know they've updated the game. I've never gone back. I've never had really an interest in it. And I didn't hate the initial game. I just thought it over-promised what you got. That was for sure. So what did they announce? A VR mode for it. So here's one thing I want to say. There was a lot of VR shown here. There's a lot of VR games. And I'm a huge VR fan. I love VR. I got the PlayStation VR and I've had some wonderful times with it. And so Sony looked like they were pushing the VR side of, which they haven't done for a long time. They haven't pushed VR for ages. So I was applauding that, but it was just kind of underwhelming. I'm like, okay, No Man's Sky is getting a VR thing. Sure. Okay, that was kind of whatever. They showed Five Nights at Freddy VR. And I thought, I thought about that game. I'm not into that whole genre. I know a lot of people got really taken in, especially a lot of kids really enjoyed that, and that's really cool. But I was looking at it and I was like, man, I'm like, wait a second, this could probably be really scary in VR. It's just stuff jumps out at you. That's one thing that VR is good for, jump scares. Because you're just kind of looking around, all of a sudden something comes at you. So that was kind of fascinating. They showed Blood and Truth VR. I don't really know what to think about the game. The graphics are all right for a VR game on the PlayStation VR. It looks okay. You're kind of like a Hitman going through certain levels, kind of maybe a rail shooter at times as well. Another game that looked really interesting, and this wasn't VR, was Ready Set Heroes, where you play as animal creatures going through pre-generated levels. And I was kind of interested in this. I'm like, oh my God, I can play with my friends and go through like levels and kind of explore and stuff like that. That sounds like fun. I'd be into that. And then there's a whole cooperation thing where you're going against other teams. So you and your friends have to race through a level to get the best score, while another team of 2 people online are doing the same thing. And I was like, that's interesting. I like that kind of game. And that wasn't a VR game. The next game looked very cool. And one of the games that kind of stood out for me a little bit more, and that is Observation. And while I was observing this game playing, I was trying to figure out what this was. And they say that you're the station. It takes place in a space station above the Earth. And things have gone wrong. And there's a human woman character. And I don't know if you're playing as her or you're playing as the station. It says you are the station. So are you trying to kill her? I don't know how the game is going to play, but it looked fascinating. I don't know. That was the one game that kind of stood out for me a bit. Concrete Genie was an interesting game. Kind of the character designs, I was not a big fan of them. And also the animation style of it, didn't really care for that too much. But you play as a kid and you draw on walls and your drawings come to life and aid you in this world. I thought it was very artistic. I thought it was kind of beautiful in that regard. Is it a game that I'd be interested in? I don't think so too much, but I see the appeal of it to certain people. They showed another update to Days Gone. How does that look? And what do I think of Days Gone? I'm honestly interested in Days Gone. It's unfortunate I'm going to be away the week that game is released, so I won't be able to review it. I've been looking forward to reviewing that game for a few years now. Ever since they first announced it, I was like, oh, I can't wait to play that game and review it. And and then I looked at the calendar. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to be away for that entire week. So that is unfortunate, but I think the game looks really cool. Obviously, you're a character fighting wave after wave of zombies, but I think it's a very story-driven thing. I think there's going to be a lot of emotion in there. I like the modes of transportation. I think it's going to be interesting. Now, they brought some old characters back into Mortal Kombat 11. Another game I'm not going to be here for when it's released. God, it drives me crazy. I haven't talked about Mortal Kombat 11, and I just want to say my little thing. Super excited. I thought Mortal Kombat 10 was a perfect Mortal Kombat game. I've never seen a fighting game with so many modes in it, so much content in number 10. Number 11 seems to be adding on to that. I cannot wait to play it. I love how they're bringing the old characters back to meet the new characters, meeting themselves at times. Fantastic. And I loved how they were having a little bit of humor here and kind of shaking it up. And I loved how one of the characters said to the other character, he's like, go back to the 90s. I thought that was fun, especially growing up in the 80s and 90s myself. But my God, all weekend waiting for this, and it was over like that. I'm like, that's it? There's no more? I honestly thought I was going to see a Square Enix game or something at the end. I'm like, they're saving the best for last, and they didn't. I think they have to learn from Nintendo's Directs. Nintendo Directs, if you can say if they're exciting at times or not. They always have something kind of cool at the end. They always try to give you something a little bit more to get excited about. And I think Sony's got to learn that in the future to save the big reveal just for the end. But we're in a weird time, a very strange time that I'm trying to still wrap my head around, where all these companies now, I feel, are going to be leaving E3 and doing their own directs. Everybody's going to be doing that. And I think, I said it to Victor Lucas, I think in the next bunch of years, you're going to see the end of E3 the way it is. I think all the big companies are thinking, why are we investing all of this money to go to E3, to have this big display, and then do these huge shows to show our latest games? And sometimes they're not reviewed well, like a lot of us out there say, oh, that was a bad showing by Nintendo, or that was a bad showing by Sony. Obviously, Nintendo does the directs and all that, but who, the people who are still there. I think they're saying, I don't think it's worth the money. Why don't we just do a little video and put it directly to the fans? Why don't we do that? So I think that's my guess. That's my guess. We're in a very unusual time here, especially they just announced Apple Arcade. There's so many subscription services. It seems that they want to push everything just directly to you. There's no more. I think going places and doing things is going to be a thing of the 90s and the 80s, I don't think there's going to be these big shows anymore. I think they're all going to end. It's all going to be, you know, the State of Play or Nintendo Directs, and I swear that Xbox is going to jump in a big way, and we're going to see it more and more from companies, and everybody's going to start saying, hey, yeah, put our games into your Directs or into your State of Plays in the future. What do you guys think? Is this the beginning of the end of E3? Or am I jumping ahead of the game? I think it's the beginning. I think they'll always have maybe a small presence there so you can play the games, but the shows of the past, the huge shows, are maybe left to Directs straight to us now. So anyways, I was just a little disappointed by that. What do you guys think? So anyways, guys, till next time.